Hi guys, I promised you I would take you on a trip of my prayer path. So it's a beautiful afternoon this afternoon. The sun's coming through, autumn is just about here, fall's coming. And I just want to show you where my prayer path is. You come out my back door, you walk around to the edge of the woods, and that's the entrance. Now this entrance was very intentional. When I first decided I wanted to do this, when we built my studio, the path that came to it just kind of became a solitude walk. So it just became my prayer path. It just became, as I would start here, I would start praying about things and thinking about things and just letting God speak to me, and I spoke to him. So if you'll notice, it's a very tight spot here. And it started with I just had a wire arbor, and I started the Eleagnus on it. And the Eleagnus it's wild honeysuckle, and Eleagnus is what creates the tunnel. And it comes on through, and then it opens up. The path is not wide to begin with. I just wanted it to be a walking path. I didn't want it to end up being, I knew I'd be tempted to ride down it on the four-wheeler, so I did not. And I have a stump I can sit if I want to sit. But these rocks came from an old home place here in Verbena. And the home place that it came from, he was one of the teachers at our church. And the home place it's probably at least 80 years old now. He's been long gone. And he just meant a lot to us. And I was excited that we bought the old home place to flip it. And I got some of the rocks that he had brought in. So I was excited to get those. And I have some flat rocks too. These were just various and sundered places that I picked them up. It's a low spot right here, so that one keeps it from getting too wet. I can actually walk across here because it is so low. I do have a little drainage ditch here, so we built us a little place for the water to drain out, and it drains out into this little play area we used to have for the kids. I haven't been playing in it in a long time, as you can tell, and one of the swings fell during the last little hurricane winds that we had come through here, so we've got to take care of that. But the woods around here are absolutely beautiful. They're small trees because they're very close together. Most of them are oak, maple, and sweet gum. It stays pretty shaded in here, so it doesn't matter what time of year that I get out here. The hot sun or in the wintertime, it's kind of protected. But how it became a prayer path is really unknown to me, which is really strange. But when we take our rides in the Jeep, I think I've taken you on a couple. It's getting Jeep riding time again, so we'll go on a couple more. I would find these very interesting big rocks, big smooth rocks on the dirt roads. So I started picking them up, and this is my first little line, and I don't know why they just became prayer rocks. Now, they're not specific prayers. They're not specific people. They're just rocks that I look at, touch, and sometimes I rearrange them and I pray. And when I come here, if I'm in a hurry or if I'm running around, I may not stop to pray every time I come, but I'm always reminded to pray as I come. So I have a little treat. I picked up this rock right here. I'm putting it in this little pile. And I'm going to pray for each one of you all out there. And just thank you for being on my channel and supporting me. And I appreciate it so much. And I'm just going to, that rock right there is a thank you prayer rock for all of you all. So I'm just going on down my line. I have some big ones. Those are big prayers. If I have a big prayer, I'm going to have a big prayer on that one. And they're just lined up in various and asundered ways. This one right here, I remember specifically, it was a big old pile of prayers, because at that time there was a lot going on, and I just piled up a bunch of them and said, Lord, you know, you take them. Just you take them. They're heavy on me. They're heavy like these rocks are. Just take it from me. And as we go on around, I have different things that are placed. Nothing specifically. If something moves me, I'll pick it up. This was something that I got probably at one of the many arts and crafts shows that I attend. I do have lights that come up and down through here. Bucky doesn't like for me to come at night. He really doesn't. So it just lights up this path for me. This tube right here is a well tube. That was the well tube that I used. We lived my grandmother's home, my dad's family home. We lived there, and on the back porch was a well, and I drew the water. I had to get up on the banister and draw the water when I was little. So that is the tube that was there. I'm surprised it hadn't rusted through, because it is really old, really old. And different things catch my eye. I don't have a lot because it's pretty much prayers through here. I have another rock right here, and I'm putting there to pray for the nativity that I'm doing this winter at the church. We don't have very many young people, but I'm going to pray over it, and we're going to have plenty that come and be our angels and our shepherds. I already do have Mary and Joseph, but I'm anxious for you all to see that. These are some cement mushrooms that I found that I love to put out here. They just look really, really neat, I think. They make me smile. That's a lightning rod that was at one of the old home places that we have. I don't know if it was Mama's or Daddy's. And it was just a lightning rod. This is Mama's. That was in Mama's little flower garden that she had. She loved it, so I brought it out here. And the kids brought the turtles. Here are the turtles. There's Mama Turtle and Baby Turtle, and I'll come out here and I can tell when they've been out here. Little Baby Turtle will be in a lot of places. They don't move Mama Turtle around too much. I have a dragonfly. There's no rhyme or reason. In the spring, I put seeds in here for the birds. I have 2 of those. And I come on up and come around, and I'll put a plate out in the spring. This one was left. I found it in the weeds when I was blowing, so I just stuck it back up there. I usually have a line of something that I found to work with, but in the wintertime, I kind of clean it up a little bit because it gets yuck. Now, coming off the path, this is my little swing. It's a chair swing. I know you all have seen those before. And that's a way for me to just sit and enjoy, read, think about my next project. And also we have I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to walk down to it. I'm going to walk real slow. Now you can begin to see it. It's a rope swing. And it is attached between 2 trees. Now, Bucky got up there and attached those 2, and the kids absolutely loved this. So he had to build them, of course, a launching pad. So they get on the launching pad, they pull the swing, they let it go, and they love to swing on it. And that tree was, Bucky's going to cut that up for me, which I'm anxious for him to do that because I need some more limbs to kind of block my path off. They rot during the summer, and they don't last but a couple of seasons. So I need to replace some all along through here. And there's some places down there. So he's going to do that for me. That's my water supply that I have for my little studio. It doesn't have running water in it. So that's my running water. And this is my studio. I'm going to turn really slow and show you the path from this angle. Isn't that pretty and peaceful? It just is just a blessing, just such a blessing. God's just blessed me so much. I do want to show you that. That is an old logging chain. I'm from Walker County. There's a lot of loggers up that way. And I don't know where it came from, but it's been in my life for a long time, so I just hung him up. And that chain just reminds me how everybody is connected in every way and everything. Families, friends, the whole shebang. But on the other side, we have a little, that's just a little fire to keep it from getting out, a fire pit that we have out there. The kids go out there quite a bit. Well, we all do now that the weather is pretty. These cedar logs came from this property. And I made the deck so you can sit out there and enjoy the pond and the nature. And it sounds, I can't hear anything right now, but normally you can hear birds. And at night, oh my goodness, in the summer and spring, the frogs are absolutely unreal. But I have a little place that when it rains, I have a little porch. I'm gonna try to put you out. There we go. A little porch that I can sit on. A little stained glass. These beads came, my Aunt Ruth, she had twin boys, and they were both in Vietnam, and they sent those to her, and I was fortunate enough to get those, so I was excited about that. And I always want to laugh. I love to laugh. I love to laugh. There's my water cistern. That's where I get my water for my paints and all. And then there's my Dr. Pepper. Tells me how cold it is, but it doesn't tell me anymore. So standing in front of my door, that's what I get to see. Isn't that so pretty? So peaceful. So let's walk into the studio. It's in a mess. Y'all know I've just gotten through with the Jolly Hollyopolis that we did. So my studio is a bright, happy place. And I love every minute of it that I get to spend in here. As we walk on, that fell at some point. I didn't put it up. Don't know why. I'm not going to apologize, but I didn't. And this rock, it says Mama's Garden, and it has a butterfly. Briar gave me that. Do y'all call your kids by do you call your grandkids by their children's names? I do that all the time, and they laugh at me. And in the springtime, I put a row of plates up and down through here, and I take them up as it goes on into the middle of the summer, but that one somehow ended up in those leaves over there, so I just stuck him back up here. And this is my little swing that Bucky put up for me, and it's one of those, I don't know if you can see it, it's one of those that you can sit in and enjoy and contemplate. And there's a swing out there that the grandkids swing on. I think you can see it right about there. And they jump off of this on that swing and give their honey a heart attack. But Bucky put it up. You see that long rope that goes between the trees, and then he dropped it down so that they could have a swing. And I don't know if you can see the tree house out there, but there's a whole line of different walkways that all the kids made when they were little. Now they're not so much, but when they were little, they did. And we're finally to my studio. My studio came to pass after we built the house. And Brandon, my son, I had paints and I had all my stuff. He paints also. He's excellent. If you ever go to Berry Art, he is, you will just see, he's just got an imagination like you wouldn't believe. I love to see his artwork. There is no bathroom, there's no running water. That's my running water right there, a hose that goes. And I also have a cistern right back there that I can turn on if I don't want to go and turn the water on at the house. The honey on there, Brax And Benton put that up for me, surprised me. I wish I had known that it was not wood. I never really inspected it that much. So they said a face. I just saw it and I thought it was cool, so I put him on the path, but I do cover his face up every once in a while. There's some mushrooms. They've had some prayers. That's a lightning rod that was on either Mom's or Dad's house when they were growing up. And this was Mom's garden ball. And I do have lights. Some of them come on because this, like that one right down there will come on. This one might come on. It's according to where the sun hits it. And I light up my little turtle. I like my little turtle. I'll come out here sometimes, not as much as when the kids were little. I'll come up and I'll find that turtle. I have found him in some weird places. Plus, that poor mama turtle right there can't hardly keep up with it, with the way the kids move it around. I don't know if you can see it. My shadow's in the way. Let me see if we can see him. Can you see him better there? It's got the little baby up there. That's Tallulah the turtle. And as we walk on, that fell at some point. I didn't put it up. Don't know why. I'm not going to apologize, but I didn't. And this rock, it says Mama's Garden, and it has a butterfly. Briar gave me that. Do y'all call your kids by do you call your grandkids by their children's names? I do that all the time, and they laugh at me. And in the springtime, I put a row of plates up and down through here, and I take them up as it goes on into the middle of the summer, but that one somehow ended up in those leaves. Enjoy and contemplate. And there's a swing out there that the grandkids swing on. I think you can see it right about there. And they jump off of this on that swing and give their honey a heart attack. But Bucky put it up. You see that long rope that goes between the trees, and then he dropped it down so that they could have a swing. And I don't know if you can see the tree house out there, but there's a whole line of different walkways that all the kids made when they were little. Now they're not so much, but when they were little they did. And we're finally to my studio. My studio came to pass after we built the house, and Brandon, my son, I had paints and I had all my stuff. He paints also. He's excellent. If you ever go to Berry Art, he is, you will just see, he's just got an imagination like you wouldn't believe. I love to see his artwork. There is no bathroom, there's no running water. That's my running water right there, a hose that goes. And I also have a cistern right back there that I can turn on if I don't want to go and turn the water on at the house. The honey on there, Brax and Benton put that up for me, surprised me. I wish I had known that it was not wood. I never really inspected it that much. So they say they're going to redo it. We'll see. But it's just a 12 by 12. It's really small, but it's really a great place for me to come and sit down if I want to, or I just come and sit sometimes and read or whatever. And I brought this also, is very meaningful. Those were my grandmother's that she had on her back porch. And you see, I even spray paint on that. I don't know about you all, but that's been every color in the world. And then this little set was Mom's. In the summer or winter, whenever we come out here, I will put candles in that. And I always kept candles in it, but I quit because the spiders here are horrible. Prayer is a big part of all of our lives. Answered prayer, whether it's a yes or a no or a maybe, or it's not going to be good for you, or all in good time, every prayer is answered. And this line right here, that came about during COVID. I mean, we had lots of times to go and gather rocks, and lots of things happened there. And, you know, my brother died during COVID, with COVID, and it just became a very big issue with so many people that were sick. And as you see, it's a very long line and a very crooked line, and some of the rocks are broken. Some of the rocks are look like they're hurting. Some of them are happy. So that's how that started. And this, my granddaughter hates it. It's a face. I just saw it and I thought it was cool, so I put him on the path, but I do cover his face up every once in a while. There's some mushrooms. They've had some prayers. That's a lightning rod that was on either Mom's or Dad's house when they were growing up. And this was Mom's garden ball. And I do have lights. Some of them come on because this, like that one right down there will come on. This one might come on. It's according to where the sun hits it. And I light up my little turtle. I like my little turtle. I'll come out here sometimes, not as much as when the kids were little. I'll come up and I'll find that turtle. I have found him in some weird places. Plus, that poor mama turtle right there can't hardly keep up with it, with the way the kids move it around. I don't know if you can see it. My shadow's in the way. Let me see if we can see him. Can you see him better there? It's got the little baby up there. That's Tallulah the turtle. And as we walk on, that fell at some point. I didn't put it up. Don't know why. I'm not going to apologize, but I didn't. And this rock, it says Mama's Garden, and it has a butterfly. Briar gave me that. Do y'all call your kids by their, do you call your grandkids by their children's names? I do that all the time. Let's go in and look at the studio. Thus as it is. It's my little home away from home. I'm going to start with, I looked for a long time for a rug. I finally found what I wanted. I wanted something that wouldn't show anything, that when I came in here, it just made me smile. So I found it, and that's what I did. I purchased that and put that right down. That's my carry in and out box. These are my paints that I've had forever. Some are new. A lot before May. A lot before May. And some after May. These are my pastels. I have a whole line of pastels. These are watercolor pencils, of course, from May's. There's some watercolors, and here's some watercolors that we have done in our past classes. And these are some watercolors that I've had for a long time. And as you see, I'm not new to alcohol ink. I've good alcohol ink for a long time. I have all kinds of different finishes to use. And these are my watercolors. This is full of watercolor. And then I have some of my before May stuff. Bo Bunny. I have some distress sprays that I've had. These I've had for, oh, I don't know, when I first started doing acrylic, way long time ago. I have all kinds of other paints that I've acquired that I just, Diane Wakely is one of my favorite mixed medias. I do a lot of her type thing. And then of course we have our various and sundered acrylic paint in the, I call it a bottle. And also I still have some of the tube paint, and of course my other paints. So I plan for us to delve into that more than we have before. I just have various and sundered things that I've done here. Don't have, of course, not anything close to all of the things I've done, but I have a lot of inspiration pieces. I have lots of different magazines that I use. Here is the pot that I finished the other day. I was afraid I didn't show it to you all close enough. And I'll give it a little twist there. I love the way it turned out. I'm giving it to her next week. I have another little box here that I plan to do. This came from Disneyland many long 100 years ago. Oh my. I want you to see these. These will never be used in a project. I'm gonna bring them over here so you can see them better. Look how gorgeous. These are just gorgeous. Mary and I found these in an attic a long time ago, but I will never, ever break these up. They are so gorgeous. We've got a terrible glare. Let's see if I can find the place. That's one thing about my studio. It is bright, bright, bright. Let's see if I can come over here. There we go. There we go. Aren't these gorgeous? What inspirations these can bring. At some point, hopefully I can find a place. Just the colors they use. I use this a lot for color inspiration too. And that's something that you can do. Keep things around you that inspire you, even if it's not what you like. If you like the colors that are in it, keep it. Okay. Oh, and this is the prayer. Oh. That's so, but I know they're torn. I know they're worn, but I just can't make myself do anything with these yet. And like I say, they're great for color inspiration. So I just wanted to share those with you. A lot of different things. This is another painting that we did at Maymay's. Did a class in that. These are all of my drawings that I have done, paintings that I've done in the past. This whole box is just full of different sketches that I've done and different, in fact, this was one I was working on for Christmas. And I'll probably come on, if I'm just, no, it doesn't matter where I am or what piece of paper I have. These are the cows that I did for Maymay. I did her cows on couches. So this is just kind of there's probably my sketches from back in the 80s in there, early 80s in there. And these are old dictionaries that I use a lot. These are unusual things that I want to do. If I find something that interests me, I'll tear it out of a book. I'm really wanting to make something like that. And I am promising you all I'll get back to it. Now, this is, I don't know if I've shown you, I have told you that I do travel journals when we travel. When we traveled before they started charging so much for bags, I had plenty of room to make a large journal. And those were my cloths that I used for that. Now I make the smaller journals because we mainly go carry on. So that's what that is up there. And these are my different, here's the album. These are different closures that I find for there. And then I have different books. And these are Mama's old patterns that she used. I won't get rid of those. And then I have different kits that I've used for different classes in here. I've taught all over the place. And they'll send me something. Like this one was the mermaid. It was Graphic 45 mermaid kit. And I made a box with a mixed media top. And I also made a 3D picture, so that did good. That's what it is. Then I have my different books. I love drawing books and painting books, anything that just will give me some sort of inspiration to do different projects. Of course, you see my stamps, my stencils, and my big kick. These are all dies from 100 years ago. And from present. So I just have them in my box. And I have watercolor paper, more stamps, a lot of Maymay stamps. I didn't have stamps really until Maymay. I have some that are Tim Holtz and Diane Wakely, but mostly all of mine are Maymay. This is my travel box. I put one of these days I'm going to make me a travel scrapbook with all our travels in it. So any inspiration I see, I put in there. Any papers, I get it in there. Now this is my Morocco journal. Now, we went to Morocco 2 or 3 years ago, and this is everything that goes in it. This is the book. I started it out. I got it going, telling all of our stuff, but as you see, it's not finished. So I do plan to finish that one day. All of these are things that I gathered in Morocco that I've tied on there and made it. So maybe we'll do that one day. Let me see. These are my old toll books. You remember all the Josiah. I took from Josiah. I took from, oh gosh, so many. Back in the day, back in the early days, back in the 70s even. I did a lot of classes. I took a lot of classes and I taught a lot of classes, but I always loved to take a class. It always was such an inspiration. This is a box that I've got different inks and pens, and there's my free heart, my heart on wings, which is, that's about what happens with all of my art. Now, I gave you a peek at this at one time, but I'll give you a bigger peek. These are my junk drawers. This is collecting from ages ago. When I was a little girl, I didn't like to throw anything away. Mother would break a piece of jewelry, and I would end up with it in my room. And that's what this is. This is all jewelry parts. I used to make jewelry also. And then I have my different projects over here, and I have more junk drawers. These I just love a junk drawer. I have a bunch of them, and I love them. These stamps are stamps. Yes, these are older stamps that I had over the years that I just have kept. I just kept the ones that just inspired me. So that's that. Let's look here. This is just simply what it is. These are journals that have finished, and I've stuffed a lot of them. And let's see what this one is. Ah, this was the Egypt one. This was the first time that we did carry on. Lord, I thought I had died. I had to get them in a little bitty. I had to get it in a little bitty journal. So I bought one of the binders, painted the front. I don't know if you can see. There you go. I made the pyramids. And the one thing I did with this one is I used an elastic hairband to go over it. See, to close it, to keep it closed. That's just a headband that I got at Dollar Tree. But we were sitting there one night and I drew that. The strawberry juice, that was the best drink ever. And this is a little synopsis of what we did, all the places we went. These were the places that I just wanted to go, so we checked them off as we went. And I like to get cards. I like to get different postcards. And the one thing that they had in Egypt, they had these tickets. And the tickets were beautiful. I sketched that out when we were sitting there. This was a place we stayed. Look at all that intricate work. But that's all this book. This book just tells our journey. It just has our journey in it. These scarab bracelets were everywhere. These are some more tickets. I was fascinated that they still gave a paper ticket. Oh, and this was when we went down the Nile. We did the Nile River. These were some of the hieroglyphics that caught my eye after I got back to the ship. Well, it was a boat. It was a river boat. I drew those. But it's just, I just can't explain how you feel when you're in Egypt and you see these things that are so very old. So, and then I still have some things back here I need to glue in, and they will get glued in eventually, one day when I'm old and gray, maybe. if I'm lucky. So yeah, there's just a lot of those different ones that I have. That's Briar when she was young. Look at that beautiful hair. Look at that beautiful red hair. That's on my baby. But I have just different, I call them, you're probably going to laugh, different accessories. It's almost like you accessorize a page. You just make sure you've got it all looking good. And these are things that I've had for a long time, things that I've collected over the years, things that I use in my collage. You can see there's a lot that you're familiar with, and there's a lot you may not be familiar with. These are all, through the years, the different books that I've gathered that I love to use. And these are different patterns that I've done. This is the newest thing I'm going to do. I don't think you can see it very well, but I'm going to do those for us later. I have a lot of my paper here. And then this is my messed up desk. I don't know how to keep one straight. I am just not a keep straight person. I work very well in chaos. Very well. I can live in chaos. I can. But I also can live in neatness too. So I keep these are projects that are on my mind. I'm going to do some of those. I'm going to cover them in different fabrics. I'll have a little video on that. And brushes, pencils. This is a project, believe it or not. I'm going to cover that with clay, bake them, and make some heads for my different dolls. And I just have the things near me that I know that I'm going to be using. These brushes were given to me by Winsor Newton a long time ago when I did all acrylic painting, as were a lot of those paints over there. So I just wanted to, here we have this. This is my tower. It has a lot of my adhesives, a lot of the things that I work with here. And I have projects in these two books that I'm going to work on. There's my trash can. I didn't clean up for you all. Y'all are just home folks. So I just sit here and work. I have not had time lately. Let's go out and see what the sunset's doing while we're here, while I close just a minute. Look how pretty that looks. I just come out here and work. Sometimes I come out here just to sit and just to thank God for everything He has given me and what a blessing it's been. This channel has been a blessing. You all are a blessing. And I just appreciate it so much. And as I've said before, it's just an inspiration to be in nature. And I was always so glad that this was built where it's built, because it's just right in the middle of nature. That's my side view. And as we come around, as I took you down the prayer path, it's that way. So I just wanted to show you a little tour, so when you see that I've made something or while I'm making something, you'll know where I am. I just appreciate you all. So till our next adventure.